It's win 93 for the number 93 in MotoGP. Marc Marquez takes his 93rd Grand Prix career win across all classes. And honestly, that today, for me, was the dagger in Pecco Bagnaia's title chances. They were very slim heading into this weekend. But this, for me, established Marc Marquez is not going to be beat this year by his teammate. And for Pecco not to finish on the podium for the track that he's won at the past 3 years, he's been unbeaten. Not to get on the podium, how's he going to feel after this? He was the fourth best Ducati today. And yeah, getting beat by Alex Marquez, who finishes second. Fabio Di Giannantonio with a magnificent third place gets him with 2 laps to go. We'll talk about Pecco's race in a bit and where they go from here, because it seems like there is no fix for this issue that he seemingly has with the front. We've seen him lose the front at the beginning of the race. He just never looked comfortable. And yeah, some interesting comments from Davide Tardozzi after the race that we'll discuss later. But first, talking about Marc, magnificent over the whole weekend. His 100th pole position across all classes. He wins the sprint yesterday after an issue that seemingly didn't seem to bother him with his launch control at the start. He then produces a brilliant win today where Bagnaia threw everything at him in the early laps. Alex even took the lead as well, but he was patient. He waited and waited, struck when he needed to, saved the tyres beautifully, and was up the road by a few seconds. And wins for Ducati at home where, yeah, a lot of people have said that it's Italian ground, they're not going to appreciate him, but majority of the crowds have appreciated Marc Marquez in Italy. Of course, you get the Valentino Rossi side, which you've seen the videos yesterday of Davide Tardozzi trying to stop people from booing Marc, and I think that is part and parcel of MotoGP. You can't tell people how they're going to treat others, but it's not nice to see. But I was watching Marc there after the race. He thanked Davide Tardozzi for kind of trying to stop people from booing yesterday. He said it was a nice gesture. But Marc said this the key thing for me, he said, if you're a fan of motorbike racing, you will have enjoyed any battle that you see on track, and especially the ones that we've seen early on in the race today, which arguably is the highlight of the race. Yeah, Pecco Bagnaia, he knew that he had to do something. He tried, and ultimately I think it's cost Pecco at the end of this race with Digia and the tyre. But Marc seemingly knew that he needed to manage, and there was no stress or panic for him once he got overtaken. He would wait again till the straight, overtake, and then if there was a battle, he'd wait another lap, overtake again. It was a true display of Marc's character and his craftsmanship in these situations, how he's able to think about the longer picture, which he arguably didn't do at Jerez when he crashed out in the early laps. And he did reference that after the race there, speaking to MotoGP, saying that he was constantly reminding himself that it's a long race and he needed to just let the race come to him, and he did that perfectly. And who's going to stop him now? I think the points gap is 40 over his brother, and it's 110 over Pecco Bagnaia, which is just... Imagine someone saying that to you at the start of this year, it would be that big between the two factory Ducati teammates. Pecco, I don't think has a chance this year, barring anything, a miracle. I don't know what's going to happen for him, but he just needs to get back to that front end feeling. And yeah, I suppose we can start with Pecco now. I kind of thought that fair play to him for trying. It was courageous. He needed to do something. The home crowd got right behind it. It was great to see. But once Alex and Marc cleared him, he was just in a struggle to stay in third. And we thought there was a breakthrough at Aragon with the bigger disc size, the 355 disc, but you can't run it at Mugello. It doesn't cool enough. And I don't think the brake issue... It's a temporary fix, but there's something fundamentally there. Davide Tardozzi said after that Ducati are trying to fix this. It's on them. They can see from the data that Pecco's still the same rider as last year. That just he can't extract something. Personally, I don't think it's good enough if Fabio Di Giannantonio is able to beat him. Alex Marquez is able to beat him. It comes to the point where you're looking at it. Is this on Pecco now to find something? Ducati, I think, are trying everything. But if Davide Tardozzi says it's on them, so be it. My opinion is, you've got riders that are beating him. that weren't on GP24s last year, and they've jumped on newer machinery, and they're faster than him. What does that tell you about where Pecco is? It must be a crushing blow for him knowing that it's a circuit where he's won 3 years in a row, and it just ends like that, not even finishing on the podium. Yeah, interesting, because we go to Assen where it's essentially the same for Pecco since 2022, 2023, 2024. He's won every single race, and he has to find something. He lost the front, like I said, in the early part of the race, and I think that was the warning sign for him that all wasn't right, and he still can't do everything that he wants with the Ducati. But at the same time, it's the others are riding the same bike and they've jumped on it, and yeah, it's difficult. It's truly difficult as a sport. Confidence, feeling, it's all there, and Pecco's very sensitive to this. Say compared to Mark, who can ride around the issues like it's been talked about. But for me, it must be a killer blow for Pecco and his chances this year, and even trying to fight for a world title, because I don't think he can do it anymore. And I thought it was very slim coming into the weekend. If he could get a momentum change and possibly take it to Mark, that something would change, but it's actually grew even bigger now. And I suppose heading to Assen for Pecco, it's all about the process and trying to just figure out something before the summer break, because Mark's going to go in his favourite now to these races, and I do think that there's a panic setting in for his side of the garage that maybe this is the reality for the whole year, and they just have to try and minimise the damage, because Alex Marquez still has a massive gap over Pecco. I think it's nearly 70 odd points now. And what does Alex? Yeah, Alex has got the settled package. He's not going to get anything new, and he can just continue doing what he does, finishing in second place again. 2 second places for Alex Marquez, which some people are criticising that he doesn't attack Mark in the same way. Yeah, I get that. It's his brother, it's different. But at the same time, Alex is smart enough to know that he's not going to beat Mark, because if he had a battle Mark hard in the early part of this race, for example, he would have burnt his tire out like Pecco did, and he would have been susceptible to an overtake from Di Giannantonio at the end. So, different mindset, I think. And yeah, what's going to happen? But I think with Mark, incredible weekend for him. I think it's quite a fitting weekend where he wins his 93rd Grand Prix at the place where he took his first Grand Prix win, and Max Mokiles in Moto 3, his rider under his management. People say Mark's his mentor. He takes his first win at Mugello. Yeah, perfect weekend for the Marquezes with the 100th pole position as well. And we head to Assen next, where I think Marc Marquez is a track that he loves from the past. Think of those epic wins that he had in 2014 and 2018, where he was sensational. Marc Marquez is not going to be beat this year. It's fair to say, barring a miracle, someone's going to beat him. But when he's in that vein of form, there's no one better in the world than Mark in MotoGP. And I think we've seen it this weekend. In a place where he expected to struggle, he somehow pulls it out the bag and digs deep. And that mentality of that 8-time world champion is still in there. And we're seeing it in full display this year in MotoGP. Let me know your thoughts in the comments. We're going to have a podcast tomorrow. Don't worry, we'll discuss everything. The Morbidelli incident with Vinales. Maverick wasn't happy there at all. KTM's, Hondas, Yamahas. Yeah, a very mixed weekend for those manufacturers. Let me know your thoughts, like I said, in the comments. Subscribe if you're brand new, and we'll see you tomorrow for the podcast. Take care.